Cool.
And we're on.
We're live. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first new episode of our rebranding. We switched from 352 Sports Talk. Now we're 352 Blitz. And the reason for that, we're going to focus more strictly on football, college football, NFL, and not only. I know in the past we talked about soccer, NBA, and other stuff like that, but we're going to try to niche down, make this a football-only podcast. So if you love football, this is the podcast for you. If you don't love football, I understand might not be the podcast for you, but that's okay. Stay around, listen to us. Maybe we might change your mind. You never know. But let's go ahead and go around the panel. We're going to start with Ed, bro.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to get this going again. 352 Sports Talk was, a hobby for me. I like doing it, different sports and like that. But I think there was too many minds and too much going on in different sports that we couldn't cover. So we narrowed it down to football, which I think it's all four of us can talk about it all day, every day if we wanted to. And I think that this is going to be great.
I agree.
And I'll move it on to whoever else.
You can go ahead, Omar. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I'm kind of the same as Eddie. I'm excited, ready to get it going. I appeared on a few of the 352 Sports Talk episodes, but just looking to be more consistent with this and do it once a week. Talk about sports. We talk about it pretty much every day, so this is going to be a great thing for us, I think.
We're live, man.
So to all the viewers and listeners out there, as you can probably see on my screen, it says Leo Rodriguez. My first name, but my close friends, the boys that I do this with, Eddie, Justin, Greg, they know me as Omar. So if you guys hear Omar on the podcast, they're referring to me. And yeah, I found this common love for football with you guys, and I think this is moving forward, covering football, NFL, and college is, I think, was best for the both of us, all of us, and also for the listeners, because as we know, football is king in the United States. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So I'm really excited to start covering the game with you guys, communicating facts, knowledge, news, with our listeners. I think our listeners are gonna kind of relate a little bit because, we're just like everyone else. I don't think we're gonna think like, oh, we know more than the listener. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be listeners out there that have more knowledge than us, and I encourage those people to engage with our socials. Let us know what they think, and I'm really excited to see what 352 Blitz is gonna turn out to be.
Yeah, man, we're all excited, and I can't wait, bro. Very excited. For all the viewers out there and listeners out there as well, you can catch us on Apple Podcast and Spotify and Anchor. We're going to have an audio version only uploaded on those websites for you guys. Also, if you guys watching us on YouTube, we're going to obviously stream from there. We're going to also stream from Twitter as well. You can find us on Twitter at 352 Blitz, all one word. Same thing on Instagram, 352 Blitz, all one word. All right, cool. With all that stuff out the way, let's get into it. So, obviously not much going on in college football, so we're going to focus more on the NFL today, guys. So, obviously today we're recording this on March 13th, which is a Monday, first day of free agency. There's a lot going on, as you guys have already seen, right? Let's talk about the quarterbacks a little bit. What do you guys think about Derek Carr going to the Saints for 4 years, $150 million?
I think it's good for them, but they kind of settled with Derek Carr. I feel like he's good. He'll be a great game manager, but when you have people like Aaron Rodgers and Lamar that are on the table, it seems like it was just an easy, let's give him the contract and move on. He's decent. That's kind of just how I feel about it.
I agree. I think that Derek Carr, I think that the contract for both parties, it worked. Because we all know the damn Saints be finessing the cap. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. The contract is not right every year. Every year is the same thing. It's nothing new, and we're just like, how do they do it? But it's 4 years, 150 million. 100 million is guaranteed. But I'm sure that they have some clause there where they pay him 150 million, but really only show they only pay 20. I don't know how they do it, but I think Carr never. If we're talking about Derek Carr, I don't think he ever got a fair chance over in with the Raiders. Every single year he played for the Raiders, he had a new OC. I think only one time he had consecutive years with the same OC, and that you can't be a successful quarterback and have that. You need consistency from your offensive play calling to be able to be successful. And when you play in the division with the Chargers, in the division with the Broncos, in the division with the freaking Chiefs, you need consistency, and he never got that. I think with the Saints, he has enough weapons around him. Um, the head coaching, I'm not going to say he's great because the first year was kind of but he has a good enough weapons to do good things with the Saints and to have a great defense. So we'll see. What do you think, Omar?
Man, for me, Derek Carr, I know you guys probably remember him in his early career. He didn't have a great rookie season, but you guys
Mm-hmm.
look at 2015, 2016, 2017 seasons, you're like, man, this guy can sling the ball. And even then, we
Yeah.
bought into the Derek Carr. We bought into the hype when he had those great seasons with the Raiders. Unfortunately,
No.
as we know, yeah, as it turned out to be, they got somebody named Patrick Mahomes, and you can't really ask, like Ed was saying. I'm gonna go back to what Eddie was saying. You can't ask for much success in that division when you got to compete with a team like the Chiefs that just got Patrick Mahomes, and obviously the Chargers were getting better at the time, and the Broncos also. The Broncos have been up and down, but that 2015 season they made it to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I think Derek Carr for the Saints is a great option. I know Justin was saying, they kind of settled. I think for the Saints themselves, though, with the cap space they got, the cap space problems, I don't think they were able to afford, Lamar Jackson or anybody like that.
Yeah, for sure. I think I want to add some thoughts about Derek Carr as well. I think he's still a little bit underrated. I don't know if you guys remember. I think this is 2017 season or 2015, 2016, whenever the Raiders were like 14-2, and he got hurt in week 16. And then that was kind of like something that kind of like changed his career a little bit. But like Derek Carr was good, and I kind of see him slowly getting back to who he was that first year. Not that first year, but that year whenever the Raiders almost made a good run in the playoffs and whatnot. So interesting to see. I'm kind of excited to see what he does with the Saints. But yeah, moving on to another quarterback.
Speaking of the Saints, real quick, Jameis Winston just re-signed with them as well.
Really? What's the contract looking like?
Let's see here. Justine Anderson just broke it. We're looking at I don't understand. I guess that's a good backup to have, just in case Carr gets hurt. That's a great backup to have.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
what was the question, Greg?
No, yeah. So moving on, talking about the next quarterback in the free agency world. So you saw that the Raiders replaced Derek Carr with Jimmy G. He got a contract. I don't see, but $67 million contract, 34 guaranteed, which is good for somebody his age. What do you guys think about that signing about Jimmy G in Oakland? Start out Oakland, Las Vegas.
Man, Jimmy G he's a weird player, man, because when he was with the Patriots and Tom Brady went down, they went undefeated those 4 or 5 games. So then he got that big contract with the 49ers, and they were expecting the 49ers have been expecting to win a Super Bowl for the past 5, 6 years that he's been there. I don't even know how long he's been there, but it feels like forever. But he's always been injured with the 49ers for whatever reason. When it comes down to it, he's injured, and they're never able to take the next step or ever able to win the Super Bowl. I think that the 49ers realize that Jimmy G is not going to be that person for them, and they moved on. So they let him go as a free agent, and of course we can see that they drafted Brock Purdy late in. I think he was Mr. Irrelevant or something last year, and then they also drafted Trey Lance in the first round 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So they were high on Trey Lance, and I think they're high on Trey Lance right now to take him to that next step, which is the Super Bowl. Because I mean, if we're really being honest, the 49ers is that one team in the past decade that have gone 4 or 5 times to the NFC Championship and have not been able to get there. You know what I'm saying? They went to the Super Bowl, lost, and then they make it, and then they make it to the NFC Championship and they lose. So they see Trey Lance once he's healed to make that next step. But I don't know. I don't know about Trey Lance. That's a weird quarterback situation over the 49ers. But with Jimmy G, I think it works out with the Raiders because they have the weapons. Now it just comes down to, are you able again to take that next step with the OC and all that with the Raiders?
Yeah, I do think that it was a good signing. I mean, the price was perfect for the Raiders to get an average, decent quarterback. I mean, I think they have the 9th overall pick in the draft, 7th, 9th. So they have the potential to take another quarterback in the draft if they want to, and just kind of sit behind him for a year. So I think it kind of works out for both sides. They're not paying him a crazy amount. He's a decent game manager. But kind of going off of your San Francisco thing, I thought it was a good move letting him go just because it takes away a little bit of drama. And instead of it being 3 quarterbacks that could be starters, now it's just a 2-man race. Yes, they brought in Sam Darnold, but he's not really going to compete.
That was such a weird signing for me. That was such a weird signing for me. Sam Darnold.
It's a 1-year deal.
Yeah. It's not like he's going to play. I think they just want him there as like a backup of a backup because I don't think that you have Brock Purdy play as well as he did during the playoffs and all that. Obviously, he got injured in the championship, but I don't see how you do that and then you bring in Sam Darnold and he's going to be your backup. I think that's disrespectful to Purdy in all ways and form. So I think he's just a third stringer, and it's just weird because you can just draft one.
Yeah, I think when you got those like backup options, you kind of want to have somebody that has some type of experience. You know what I mean? You get to that point, like you saw the 49ers in the playoffs. I think I'd much rather have Sam Darnold out there as their 4th string quarterback running things and, some Ricky. You know what I mean? So I kind of get the signing for just, what if situation happens, but, it is what it is. But moving on, Aaron Rodgers. We all see that fiasco going on with this man.
Oh, God.
But he's kind of towards the end of his career, so I think he's just kind of having fun with this because he knows he doesn't have that much time left. You know what I mean? But
this is it, man.
Yeah, bro, this is it. So I think we all can agree that he's going to sign. At least that's what we think he's going to do. Sign with the Jets. What's your initial thoughts with that team? Let's hear what you just had a reaction. Let's go, Justin.
Please don't go to the Jets. Please, please, please don't go to the Jets. As a Dolphins fan, they have every piece around a quarterback that can make them a playoff team and a real contender. They're young. Garrett Wilson played amazing. If Hall can come back off of his injury, he's going to be good. He dominated the first half of the year. O-line starting to get it together. The defense is one of the top 5, I would say, in the league. That defensive line is crazy. So if they get Rodgers, I think that it could change a lot of the AFC East. I really just hope it doesn't happen. Hopefully he'll stay with Green Bay. But that's kind of sad.
Omar?
Man, Aaron Rodgers, if he wants to end his career on a good note, which almost looks like it won't. I mean, I'm not trying to be, pessimistic about his, his career or anything, but I just feel like Aaron Rodgers, he is what we're seeing he is. In Aaron, he's not the same QB as he once was, even right now with Green Bay. So you can go ahead and insert Aaron Rodgers in any other team. I don't see how he can get another team into, contending for a Super Bowl. Obviously, yes, you got the teams that are Super Bowl favorites, which he's not going to go to. He's not going to go to the Bengals. He's not going to go to the Kansas City Chiefs. He's not going to go to the Eagles because they got their QBs already, So I don't see a team where Aaron Rodgers can go right now and you're like, oh, you know what? With Aaron Rodgers, that team is going to win the Super Bowl. I don't see it. I mean, he's just not who he once was. And that's okay. That's okay. This is not a dig at Aaron Rodgers or anything. But, the Jets, I predict another. I mean, Brett Favre didn't do so hot with the Jets either, but I'm not saying he can have a good season with the Jets and whatnot. I don't see him doing anything great with the Jets, is basically what I'm saying. And other destinations that Aaron Rodgers could go to, I know, Miami's a little unstable with their QBs and whatnot. They want to maybe sign Tua, maybe not. I don't know, but Aaron Rodgers in Miami kind of doesn't make much sense either. Even though I don't think if he went to Miami, he'll make him immediately into Super Bowl contention because, you saw what happened. You saw the debacle that Miami had in the second half of the season last year. They got some other things to fix. So,
they're getting
we'll
new
see about
doctors.
that. Yeah, but we'll see. What about you,
Eddie? I think it's just Aaron Rodgers. It's I think he was one of the best quarterbacks to play in the NFL. I think that he still can be, but let's be honest here. The Packers have not been his friend. The Packers, every way and form, they have never gotten him a true wide receiver in the first round or in the second round. They go get somebody in the third, fourth round. The year that there was really good wide receivers available, they go and draft Jordan Love. It's just I don't know. It's just very disrespectful to me if I have a quarterback in the caliber of Aaron Rodgers that you treat him like that. At the same time, Aaron Rodgers also has had I'm not gonna say off the field problems, but he's been very controversial with many things, especially during the.
Now, a lot of people, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but a lot of people forget Devontae Adams was a late second round pick. It's not like they went after him, and they thought he was going to turn out who he was, So, yes, I agree. I mean, Ed, you're 100% right. The Packers have not been his friend at all, not once.
No, they haven't. But I mean, with the Jets, they have. I can see why a Miami fan would be scared. You know what I'm saying? Why a Bills fan might be scared. Why a Patriots fan might be scared, because you're talking about a great caliber quarterback going over to the Jets for the first time since what? Since Mark Sanchez?
Question
maybe?
mark.
Question mark, right? After Buffalo? I don't know.
Right.
So him going over there with hopefully a healthy and very good running back in Breece Hall. You got Gary Wilson. You have an okay line, but you have free agency going on right now and a draft where you have 3-4 different top picks in the first 60 picks. So they could very well build the offensive line for Aaron Rodgers and add maybe another weapon. On the defensive side of the ball, they're really great. So you're talking about Aaron Rodgers potentially going to a playoff team, because the Jets were. I don't remember if they made the playoffs. I don't think they did, but they were right borderline, right? They were like a game away from making
Jets have not made the playoffs since the last time they went to the AFC Championship was in 2010. So
all right, so that tells you that, right? It's just I think it will be good for the Jets because I think they kind of need that to take the next step. But we'll see. How Aaron Rodgers is doing this right now, it's kind of annoying, if you ask me. Just announce it. He's treating us like he's LeBron James back in 2009.
My guy, you're 39.
Yeah, you gotta come on, man. Realize what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna add my piece real quick about the Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. I think that they don't become like a Super Bowl contender, but they definitely become a playoff contender. I still have question marks with the offensive line. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is the best guy to really lead to as well. As you guys can see, he's been toxic a little bit in the past within the organization as well at Green Bay. I don't know, bro. I can see why Justin, who's obviously a Dolphins fan, And Bills fans and Patriot fans will be nervous or scared, but I still don't think they could beat the Chiefs or the Bengals. You know what I mean? So go ahead, Omar.
So let's ask Justin real quick. If he were to join the Dolphins, which is obviously kind of I don't think he's close to, but do you think he makes the Dolphins a Super Bowl contender?
No.
See,
But
just
I
to get a
think
little
that he
perspective,
makes.
because
I think that he makes the Jets a playoff contender.
Gotcha.
Because honestly, yes, the Dolphins have superstars in Tyreek Hill. We have Howard. The addition of Ramsey is good, but overall, if you look at how the Jets played last year, systematically they were like one of the best teams in the AFC. No, they don't have the superstars that compete with the Chiefs, the Bengals, but they can go play with pretty much anyone, and they didn't have a quarterback all year.
Sounds like some other team I know that share locker rooms with the Jets. But that's a story for another day. That's a story for another day.
Hey, y'all paid y'all's quarterback.
Yeah, but
This is true. This is true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're just gonna have to see what the hell they're doing with what Aaron Rodgers decides to do. I honestly thought that he was gonna decide what to do in the McAfee show. That didn't really happen. I mean, we kind of got an answer from AJ, whatever his name is,
AJ
saying,
Hawk.
yeah, we all want him back. But then hours later, you see a bunch of Jets players saying, "Oh, we got him. The Chiefs had actually worked." So who the hell knows, man?
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be exciting to see how all this plays out. But yeah, moving on. Talking about some more signings with running backs and wide receivers and whatnot. So Austin Ekeler, I think we all can agree top 5, at least top 7 back. This past season, especially with fantasy, right? What do you guys think about him wanting to leave the Chargers?
Hey, for me, I think Eckler. I think he's 27, if I'm not mistaken. He's probably on the back end of his career. Sadly, because we all know running backs are kind of short change when it comes to careers. But
Yep.
I think if he wants to move out of LA is now, and if he wants to get paid, I think it's now. So it's a selfish move, and he's got all the right to do it. Make it.
He carried that team.
Yeah. I mean, like
It's kind of selfish for them not to pay him, and I get it.
I
Like
think
you're
it goes
saying,
both ways. It goes both ways. It does. I think that if he wants to go ahead and leave, by all means, go ahead and do it. As you guys can see, the Chargers are not a well-ran organization. They have drastically failed to perform in the playoffs. And if he wants to go win elsewhere, go ahead. There's plenty of teams out there that need a running back, and that will pay you for your services. So,
what is
I'd
his
say,
value?
man, I mean, like Greg said, he's up. He's a top 5 running back in the league in my book. I think
I
he
think
is. I mean, it's just
the
his
thing about
age. That's the only thing.
Eckler, for me, Eckler is he's a weird running back because yeah, he's good, but he doesn't really run the ball very well. If you looked at his games last year, even though he was killing, I'm just talking about based in fantasy. When you
Yeah,
look at his fantasy, he will be like 30 yards, right? But then he had 70 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. So
yeah.
he's more like a receiving back, which is fine. We need that in the NFL. But I think that the Chargers saw that they're like, okay, well, you can't really run the ball between the tackles because you're too small right now. I mean, not right now. You're just too small. You've always been that. You can receive the ball very well. So your asking price, you're asking for somebody that can do both, but you can't do both. You can only do one part. And I think that they just I think that's why they stepped back. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna really we're gonna let you explore. If you don't find anything attractive out there, or if anybody wants you, then just come back and you can sign a contract here. I don't see anything wrong with that. Eckler is I like him as a running back. It's just I have question marks when he wants to run between. You can't run a trap with him. You can't run a counter with him because anybody can really honestly pick him up. He's a great player and something he's very physical. But if you're gonna pay somebody whatever running back, however much he's asking for, you got to be able to do both. You got to be able to run the ball and you got to be able to catch the ball. Just my opinion.
Yeah. Another issue for Eckler is he's not even. I mean, if I'm a GM and I'm hearing that he's on the board, the first call I'm making is Tennessee because isn't Henry? Aren't they open to trading Henry? I'm calling for Henry before I call for Eckler any day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's second.
I
He's
mean,
second option just in trading,
Yeah.
not compared to people who
and
can
that,
just go. You can go get out on free agency for just money, not having to give up anything. So
and
it's
not
tough
only
for
that,
him right
fellas.
now.
Yeah. I mean,
Not
to
only
answer
that,
Greg's
fellas.
question, really, like he can get paid. He's just not gonna get paid the big bucks. That's all it is.
I mean, let's just ask. I'm gonna ask a real honest question right here. I need an answer from all three of y'all. Do you take Austin Eckler or do you take Dalvin Cook?
Oof.
It depends what kind of offense I run. So if I'm the Chiefs and I, running back to throw the ball a lot, as you obviously see what they do, I'm taking
I'd go Eckler.
Eckler.
Yeah, I'd go Eckler as a Chiefs
But
offensive team.
all right, not
But if
Chiefs.
I'm the Steelers, if I was
Char-
the Steelers,
Chargers.
Chargers.
Chargers. You're in the Chargers position right now. You have Austin Eckler on your team that needs to be extended. You have Dalvin
Dalvin
Cook
Cook.
who's available to be traded for. Who do you want?
Dalvin Cook.
Me personally, I want Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook can run the ball between the tackles and he can catch the ball as effective as Eckler.
Yep.
Yeah,
100%.
they're both the
I'm with
same
you,
age,
Ed.
by the way. Both of them are 27, and I think that Dalvin Cook obviously has a higher value because he can offer a better running game. He's way more physical too. I mean, just look at his body build.
Yeah. And I didn't think that he would be. Dalvin Cook was one of those players that I'm a Gator fan. He torched us every damn year he played for the Seminoles. When he went, but he would fumble a lot and he would get injured. So I thought that he was going to be like super crazy injury prone in the NFL, but it turned out not to be like that. He's been injured a couple of times, but he's been able to sustain a very good NFL career so far. In the past 2 years, he's rushed for over 1,200 yards. So the Austin Eckler, it's just he's in a tough spot because if I can go get Henry, Henry doesn't really catch the ball that much, but he can catch the ball. And not only that, he can run the ball 200 times for 400 yards on you, and he's not going to get injured or ask for too much. You know what I'm saying? He's going to run the ball because he's always been like that. And then you have
Just a
Dalvin
freaking
Cook
beast.
available. Right. If you have Dalvin Cook available, why not go after him? So Eckler's in a weird spot. I think he's a great running back, but hopefully he comes to realization before it's too late.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, interesting what we'll see. Like you guys talked about Henry, he's on the move. Cook looks like he's on the move. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. I just hope that none of them go to Kansas City. That's my dream. I think we all can agree with that dream as well. Hopefully, none of them go there. Also, I like Kansas City's running back too. Pacheco, I think that's his name.
Yeah, Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah, Pacheco's nice. Sticking with the
No,
AFC.
but
Let's talk about Cortland Sutton in Denver. Obviously, you guys have heard that he's unhappy, leave, and then I think there was some other tweet that came out saying that they're looking to kind of move Jerry Jeudy as well. What do you guys think is going on in Denver? What do you have to say about Cortland Sutton wanting to leave, and obviously Jerry Jeudy wanted to move as well? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think he put on
Sean
his.
Payton.
I think he put on his Instagram story, like, I just want to play for somebody who actually cares and likes me.
Yeah.
It was like some little cryptic message.
Yeah.
I just think Sean Payton is cleaning house and he's not playing around with all these stupid players doing stupid ass things on Twitter and on IG. I mean, at the end of the day, you're a professional football player. You're getting paid millions of dollars to, run a ball or catch a ball, and you're tweeting dumbass things. Oh, I want to play with somebody that likes me. Come on, bro. You're a grown ass man, and Sean Payton is an old ass man. He's old school. He's not gonna be playing that stuff. So Cortland Sutton, if you're gonna be tweeting dumb stuff on I don't know where it was on IG or
It was
Twitter.
Twitter. Yeah.
Either or, whatever you're doing, Sean Payton's not messing around with that. And Jerry Jeudy, I don't think Jerry Jeudy has posted anything like that. He's kind of a very quiet player, but it hasn't really worked out with the Broncos. He's been injury prone when he's with the Broncos, or didn't work out last year because that was just a disaster, right, with the Broncos. So Jerry Jeudy, he might just be asking for a trade just because he wants a fresh start. Well, there's nothing wrong with him. He's with that. He's a young player. He wants a fresh start, and hopefully he gets it. But with Cortland Sutton, man, if he wants to get out of there, and you're gonna be bitching and moaning about your playing time and who doesn't like you and who likes you, bro, it's the NFL. You haven't learned this since Pee Wee ball, then that's just on you, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I mean, to mention Cortland Sutton, I think Eddie's right about, his character. Maybe is not the best to post that on social media. Just be a grown man, go to the front office and tell him, hey, I want out. But Cortland Sutton as a player, I can tell you he can offer a lot of things to a team that's looking for a wide receiver 2. I think he's a wide receiver 2 type of guy. He's not your wide receiver 1, but he can be an amazing wide receiver 2 option for
I
a team
agree.
that can make a run in the playoffs. So I think for Sutton, if he's looking for success, because that's what he's looking for, and I don't think he got the success he wanted last year with Russell Wilson having an atrocity of a year. That was I never thought Russell
That was
Wilson
bad.
would
Yeah.
go down that route. But anyways, if he wants to bounce back from that, he just has to make sure he goes to a team that's a winning caliber team. Do not go from Denver to I don't know, another mid Indianapolis, type something like that. You gotta scale it up. You have to go to a team that's gonna be a playoff contender and that's gonna have a quarter that's gonna get you the ball. And an important part about this is make sure that team also has a bona fide wide receiver 1, because that's how I feel like that's how Cortland Sutton can succeed. Even for fantasy owners, like he's actually on my fantasy team this year, so I think him as a wide receiver 2 is a great option.
Yeah, very well said. Yeah, I think he could go to another team that already has a great wide receiver 1, like the Raiders, like that. Really perform really, really well. So he's a good kid. I mean, hope that finds well. But yeah, let's move on. Talk about some offensive line moves as well. As you guys know, at least Eddie and I were very big fans of offensive linemen, right? So a fellow Gator, Jawan Taylor, went to the Chiefs, signed a 4-year, $80 million contract. Ed, what's your thoughts about that?
Gator made, baby. That's all I can say. Nah, I'm kidding. Yeah, I think he got. It's weird because they had Orlando Brown, right? They had Orlando Brown. They got him last year or 2 years ago. They franchise tagged him this past year, but they didn't really see him as coming forward. The reason that I say that's weird, right? But the other reason that it's weird is because Jawan Taylor's not going to move from the right side and play on the left side. So he's going to be the left side, left tackle for Patrick Mahomes. That switch is hard. It's not the same thing anymore, because you're protecting the blind side of the quarterback, and you're talking about the quarterback of the NFL, Patrick Mahomes. But I'm happy for him. I've always liked him since he came out of Cocoa Beach. I was high on him when he went. He got drafted in the second round. I thought he should have gone to the first round to the Jags. I think the Jags dropped the ball. But overall, I mean, if they offered you $80 million to go play for the Chiefs and win a Super Bowl, or you can go play $80 million and go to a team, stay with a team that's kind of trending up, but it's still not there. It's kind of hard to say no to, to protect Mahomes. Because if you're protecting Mahomes a great way, they're gonna say that you're one of the best left tackles in the game, especially if you're not allowing any sacks or any pressures or anything like that. So, shout out to Jawan Taylor. I'm happy for him. But I think it's a good move for him. It's a good move for the Chiefs. We'll see how it works out from that right tackle to the left tackle. I'm going to be excited to see that. Like Greg said, I think as fellow offensive linemen, we love footwork. We love we love seeing the workouts from them. I'm a big fan of of seeing a big country boy, corn fed from Iowa on my team. I know they're gonna get the job done. So Jawan Taylor, man, I'm happy for him.
Yeah, man. Justin, Omar, got any thoughts on this?
Yeah, so for me, I've really come to appreciate offensive linemen as like my love for football has grown. It kind of gives you a deeper understanding of the game too, and when you know what's going on in the trenches. And for Jawan Taylor, I think this is an amazing. I think this is a stepping stone also for linemen, and get paid, because that's a good contract. 4 years, 80 million. Like that's good for a player of his.
It's 60 million guaranteed.
Yeah, so that's great. That's great money for a tackle, man. And obviously, Jawan Taylor, being a Gator, I watched him at UF. Great athlete, amazing athlete for a tackle. Everything you want to see from a tackle in your footwork. And as you guys know, you guys can correct me on this, but as a tackle, you also got to have a lot of hand work, arm movement and all that. It's an art. I think it's an art. I actually think being a tackle or an offensive lineman is an actual art. You see a lot of these offensive linemen, they in the off season they're doing judo. They're doing all sorts of things to make them better with their center.
Footwork.
Their footwork, their positioning
Balance.
and
For
all that.
balance.
Yeah. So I'm happy for Jawan Taylor. I think that for the Chiefs, this only makes the offensive line stronger and the whole team stronger.
Right.
That offense is gonna thrive, even with an offensive lineman getting added. So happy for him.
Just kind of touching on what Ed said about it was a weird situation. It was one of probably the weirdest things of day one that they gave him a 4 year, because I was reading somewhere that they offered Orlando Brown initially, but they only offered him 2 years. So it was just kind of like a weird overall situation. So that's the one thing I noticed. But I'm happy for Jawan Taylor. He went and got paid. Great to see a Florida guy get paid.
For sure. Kind of talking about another team in the AFC West, the Broncos. Obviously, you guys see what's going on with the wide receivers. It's not looking good for them, but the offensive line is looking good. They added two really strong staple pieces: Ben Powers at offensive guard, and then McKinley. I think I'm saying his name right. The guy that was the right tackle with the 49ers, opposite side of the
Yep.
trip.
Yep.
Obviously got overshadowed, right? Playing against with the best offensive lineman in the game, But you guys,
Yeah, he might be one of the best, probably top 5 right tackles in the league.
Yeah,
and he just doesn't get talked about.
Yeah,
easily.
Nah. Yeah. What happened?
Sorry, what do you think about the Broncos making that move with Ben Powers?
Oh, I think this is a classic Sean Payton. Look at Sean Payton when he was in the Saints, especially in the early years. In the later years, he was kind of slacking, but prior in the early years, he had a solid offensive line to block for Drew Brees, and I think that's what he's doing again with the Broncos. He's getting the offensive line who was absolutely trash for the Broncos last year. He's rebeefing it up. You're talking about McClinchy going over there, the other guy from the Falcons, right over there. That's what it was.
I think
No, he's from. Wait, you talking about Powers?
Yeah.
Oh no,
He's from Baltimore.
Yeah, Ravens.
He's from Ravens.
Oh, Baltimore. That's what it was. So from Baltimore, those are. I think he was the best offensive lineman for Baltimore at the time. I mean, when he was there. So you're talking about 2 caliber offensive linemen. Add them to the Broncos to like the 1 or 2 pieces that were decent. Draft another one in the draft. You have a solid offensive line. You have okay weapons. You can probably trade some for some more assets or some younger ones, or so you can get some in the draft. So I think that it's a great addition for the Broncos, and the Broncos are going to be that one team that everybody's going to be very interested to see how they do, because we're talking about Drew Brees, talking about Sean Payton coming back from retirement. Russell Wilson, was that a fluke or was it not? And you're talking about the Broncos, who last year, if they had just scored a little bit over 18 points in most games, they would have gone undefeated or won most games. Their defense is disgusting. I don't know if you guys have watched it, but their defense is actually filthy. So if they're able to score points, Broncos are scary, and you're talking about division where they're in a division with the Chiefs. So it's interesting to see. I'm definitely going to be tuning into that division next year or this year.
I think people forget that the Broncos had a top 5 defense last year.
Yeah.
So we'll see, bro. We'll definitely see.
They were bending and breaking because the offense couldn't stay on the field.
Literally. So let's talk about one of the biggest blockbuster, not blockbuster, but definitely a trade down in Miami in South Beach, right? Um, so Justin, what was your initial thought about Jalen Ramsey being a Dolphin?
When it broke, I was initially thinking, oh, damn, we're about to have no picks left because we only had 4. And then when I saw it was only a third and a Brian Flores player who never saw the field for us, I said, oh, we got a steal. Because I think 3 or 4 days before that, we announced we're cutting Byron Jones, which saves us about $14 million. We'll pay Ramsey about 18, so we're essentially only paying an extra $4 million for a top corner. I thought it was a steal for what we gave up. I was happy about it. What about you, Omar?
I mean, the Ramsey, it took me a minute to kind of, have that. How do I say it? Like, it took a while to hit. I don't know. It didn't hit immediately, but then after a while, I was like, wow, Ramsey's really he's really going to Miami. I think I forget that Ramsey is what, he's 28, 27, something like that. So he's still young for a defensive back, I think that you guys gave up just enough for him. I don't think either side was like one. I think it was even, in my opinion. I think it was even. I don't think anybody like stole the trade or anything like that. So I think this just makes Miami an actual like deep playoff run contender. I know it's crazy. A defensive back already makes it. Yeah, you know how? If Miami can figure out and how to not have a debacle like last year, because they're a good team. They were 8-3 at one point last year. So Jalen Ramsey is just an addition to the already studied defense they have. If they can play like they did last year on defense, and then the offensive improves.
Now,
and obviously Twitter
you
get
gotta
injured. Come on now.
you got to remember though, they're now coached by one of the best defensive minds in the NFL.
Even better.
Vic Fangio is gonna have the defense. Like, I think, because if you look at penalty wise, Dolphins were, I think, 3rd or 4th in the league in penalties last year. They were not. They did not have their stuff together. There was multiple times I would scream at the TV because it was like, who's coaching? And I think that was more McDaniels didn't fully trust some of the guys that he kept around. It was more GM and owner wanted them to stay, and McDaniels wanted his guys. So I think it did cause a lot of problems, especially once, like you said, late in the season when we hit that losing streak. It caused a lot of issues, I feel like, in the locker room. But once he kind of was cleaned house, I think it's going to change a lot of things. And I don't understand this Tua learning how to fall crap with judo, but if it works, it works. Greg, I see you laughing, my boy.
Hey, man. You know what, bro? I just don't want to see my man's on the floor again, fighting for his life, bro. Just to say in layman terms. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see, bro. I think
In layman's terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not say the other one, right?
Yeah. But I think Miami definitely has the best cornerback duo I can think off the top of my head right now in the league. David Howard has been locked down for the past 3 years. Well, he didn't really play last year.
Easily. Best duo.
So I think definitely best duo. So we'll see how the boys move forward down there in Miami.
You got Holland over top.
Yeah, they do. So
yep.
We'll see. Ed, do you have any thoughts on Ramsey going to the Dolphins?
No, it's like, not really. I mean, everybody said the same thing. I don't want to repeat myself. Just a great addition to that defense. I let it slide, saying that that's the best cornerback duo. But talking about the best wide receiver duo, y'all can go to hell. Y'all can go to hell.
Hey, I'm a Giants fan.
Best wide receiver duo? No.
Name another. The closest one is AJ Brown and Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown is the only one that comes close.
Even then, D. Smith is a little, yeah.
Don't even talk because you're a damn Giants fan and you hate everything about the Eagles. So let's just move on from this.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's go. Let's go.
All right, let's go.
Let's not get into
all
that.
night with that one. But one last thing to talk about, the most important thing, the elephant in the room. As a Ravens fan, this one hurts to talk about. But Lamar Jackson is kind of coming out that he's been stupid. To say the least. He's just been stupid. So I'm gonna say thoughts for last because I'm gonna be here all night if I start talking right now. So I want to hear y'all's opinions first.
Everybody, that's just So I'm a Steelers fan. Greg's a Ravens fan. We got Justin, that's a Dolphins fan, and Omar is or Leo, whatever the fuck he wants to call himself, is a Giants fan, right? So this is painful for Greg. It's painful, and I feel for him, and I feel for Lamar. But I'm gonna let Omar talk first.
Lamar, man. What can I say? He's top 3 QB. I don't care. I don't care what people go ahead and cry. I don't care. People are gonna be like, oh, Lamar, he's a question mark. I don't think he can pass the ball. Bro, he just won. He won NFL MVP 2 years ago, and you forgot already. Okay, this is for the people that don't think Lamar is worthy of getting paid. You're scared because he runs a lot and gets out of the pocket. He can get injured, yes, and that's a lot of guaranteed money. But you got to remember, we're not the Ravens, and we're not Lamar. So he has the right to go for all that money, and 133 million guaranteed, and he's not taking it is a little concerning because why wouldn't you take that? That's a lot of guaranteed money for the amount of the contract. So
Yep.
it's a little okay, all right, do you, man? But and we get what you can offer. We get it, but you got to run with it. I think, in my opinion, that's just my opinion. I'm going to leave it at that. But we'll see how this unfolds. Obviously, we're going to talk about this in later episodes. So,
And Justin, go ahead, because I'm going to be a little bit lengthy about it, but not as lengthy as Greg.
Yeah, I'll probably just keep it short. It's because we've kind of already talked about it within us four before we started this. Like I was kind of saying, it's just a kind of shitty situation for both sides. Obviously, Lamar's looking at Deshaun Watson, who got paid a fully guaranteed contract with allegations against him. And then you have everybody else in the NFL, all the 31 other owners that are like, that's just the Browns being the Browns as usual. So it's hard because, night and day, I think anyone in the league would Lamar over Deshaun any day. So it's hard to say oh, well, he got that contract, so I think I should too. Or he shouldn't get it, and that one should. So it's a weird situation, but at the end of the day, I feel like, as usual, the owners will get their way and make things happen, and it'll just be the same thing over and over again. The owners they just get what they want at the end of the day.
Yep.
Lamar's going to have to settle with what the best offer is to him and go with it. Or he could sit out, but I can't see him sitting out.
He's not Le'Veon Bell. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Lamar, man, at first I was like, you know what, pay the man. Pay him whatever, pay him. I don't think that he should be the number one paid because I don't think that he's better than
Pat
than the Mahomes, right? But he should get paid. He won the Super Bowl with nobody at wide receiver, right? Nobody. Willie Snead. Wow. He's not even in the NFL anymore.
You're talking about MVP right now, Super Bowl, right?
Who was his wide receiver one this year? Was it Robinson?
MVP, not Super Bowl. Huh?
Who was his wide receiver one this year? Wasn't it Robinson? DeMarcus Robinson?
It was Duvernay.
Wide receiver 4 for the Chiefs.
It was Duvernay, but he got the most receptions and all. So
So I was
That's
feeling bad for him, right? I was feeling bad for him, but then I was like, something doesn't make sense, and it was always me, Bet talking about that, bro. Something doesn't make sense because there's no way that the Ravens are idiots. I don't think that they're idiots. The Ravens are a very, they are a very good known organization. They've won Super Bowls, but like, damn, what is going on with Lamar right now that you don't want to pay him? But when it comes out today, this man he was gonna get paid. He would have had the third overall most guaranteed money of all quarterbacks, ahead of Patrick Mahomes, who only got 60 million in his 10-year contract. But he doesn't want that. He wants to fool. And there's a thing here. The difference here is that Deshaun Watson ruined the quarterback market. He
market.
ruined it because we're talking about $230 million guaranteed to him, fully contract to a guy who was accused of raping and I don't know what he was doing to the women, but there were big allegations and there were a lot of women with the same allegations over and over again. So for the Browns to do that, they're dumbasses. But then they ruined the market because now every quarterback that wins an MVP or that wins something, they are expecting to win to make that crazy amount of money, and it just doesn't work that way. So I'm looking at right now at the total guaranteed. So obviously Deshaun Watson got $230 million guaranteed. Nuts! It doesn't make any sense to me. It never makes sense to me, and it's just like the Browns just not wanting to be garbage anymore. But that's what you do when you're a garbage organization. Then you got Russell Wilson with a $165 million contract, guaranteed, and then Kyler Murray at 160. So then I look, let's see what was the overall money, right? Let me scroll down on the chat. Sorry, fellas, I'm looking down on the chat right here to talk about this man before I lose it. Hold up, my fault, man. See, I should have been more prepared. Okay, so then it looks here. And this is just Adam Schefter tweeting out and talking about it. So Jackson was offered $133 million fully guaranteed and $175 million total guarantees for practically $200 million contract. That should make the starting point of the offer sheet somewhere between around $150 million for someone else, right? So you're talking about $133 million guaranteed. That would have been the third most guaranteed money in the NFL. But he said no because he wanted to get way more than that. So at the end of the day, the man has no agent. He doesn't want to sign the contract with the Ravens. The Ravens tell him, okay, but you go out and look for another contract. But nobody wants to do the dirty work for the Ravens, right? Nobody wants to do that because then they can just match it and you're done. So then you did all that work for nothing. And now we're stuck because the Ravens are stuck. They don't know what to do at quarterback. Lamar doesn't know where he's going to go. And everybody's just like, what the hell's going on? So to me, I feel bad for Lamar, but at the same time, I don't. Because you have to have an agent, man. You can't just run in there crazy, signing whatever you want to do. And then when somebody gives you a good offer, you just like, nah, because it's not fully guaranteed and it's not more money than I think. So at the end of the day, I feel bad for the man. At the same time, I don't feel bad for the man at all. It's just sometimes, bro, you just can't be ignorant and not get an agent or be ignorant enough and not look at the market around. Look at everyone else's contract and look at what they offer you. It's not bad. You're getting offered more than the best quarterback in the NFL. So it's frustrating. I know it's frustrating for Greg, and I'm going to move it on to him because I know he's going to talk. But it's just a weird situation that I hope gets resolved or solved here soon.
So kind of what Ed said, going through this whole process, I was upset with my team for like the past year, almost 2 years. Like, pay Lamar, like you saw Kyler Murray get paid, you saw Deshaun get paid, you saw Pat get paid, you see Burrow and Justin Herbert get paid, right? I mean, about to get paid, right? So it's like, what's the holdup, right? And then when it comes out that Lamar is representing himself, which is a red flag, right? For the guy from Broward County kid should not be representing himself at all, and that kind of stuff, right? But you see him representing himself, and then you hear that he had the third most guaranteed money in the NFL, which is about what he deserves, which he is. He's about.
He's about that. He is. He's worth that. I think
Right.
he's worth that.
Right. Considering his injuries and everything as well.
Yeah.
That Patrick Mahomes might go down as the best quarterback ever, right? But he's about that, and it's very frustrating because at one hand, I'm kind of mad at the Ravens because they, for other reasons, not even about Lamar. I'm trying to say for Lamar. I apologize. But with Lamar's situation, I think that he just needs to kind of just get some better around him, like in professional world, and tell him straight up, like, this is an amazing deal. I don't know why the fuck you said no. Sorry for my language. I don't know why you said no in the first place, but he just needs to understand, like, it's not gonna get better than this, bro. You're not, just the deal that Deshaun Watson got was some Mickey Mouse, monopoly type deal. That shit was not supposed to happen. You know what I mean? And that's why it's contract and reconstruction now. You know what I mean? So
What's it called? An anomaly, right?
Yeah.
An anomaly. Like, it's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, bro. It wasn't supposed to happen at all. So I think that we need to just the Ravens just need to, if we have to cut bait, we have to cut bait. It is what it is. Get what you can for Lamar, and then just kind of move on to the future. I think that, like I said, Lamar just needs to get it, and not your mama, bro. Your mom's cool and everything, but goddamn, dog, you know what I mean? Like, you got to do this the right way. So I mean, I just hope Lamar comes to his senses before it's too late, because in the NFL, you can replace like that. There's a new kid coming to college every single year that's gonna, do his thing in the NFL. But we'll see, bro. I think that Lamar, like I said, needs to just come to his senses, and that the Ravens just needs to realize sooner than later that we might have a bait, which hurts my soul, but that's just it's business, today. So that's my piece.
Business is business.
Business is
They
business.
push the Ravens in the best situation because you have nobody that's bidding on them. So
It really
the
does.
offer you've given him
What-
is his best deal. And then if somebody does bid on him, you have the option to either match it or say, okay, give me your 2 first-round draft picks the next years.
It's
The thing is that
basically
it's not that nobody wants them.
Yeah.
It's not that nobody wants them. It's that nobody wants to do the dirty work until they're allowed to offer,
yeah.
which is on Wednesday, where it's allowed.
Yeah.
Tampering's allowed, but nobody's gonna do a whole week of offering, and then the Ravens just come right behind and, hey, just stay at home, and you
Do
don't
y'all
have to move,
see
you don't have to do nothing.
Do y'all see any teams offering Wednesday when it becomes available?
I see 2, possibly 3 teams offering.
Who?
Not including the Ravens, and I'd say the Commanders are one of the teams that we need to watch for. They've been talking about it a long time already. They have decent weapons. They got I think Snyder's about to sell or supposed to sell. Or I don't know what the hell's going on there with the ownership, but the Commanders, they have the defense, they have the offensive weapons, they just don't have the quarterback. The other team is the Falcons, even though they keep saying, both teams keep saying, oh, we're not going to offer blah, blah, blah. It's BS, man. How do you not offer Lamar and you're going to have Ritter as your quarterback, or you're going to have whoever the damn starting quarterback
Sam Howell.
is, right? Yeah,
Sam
Sam
Howell.
Howell. I mean, nothing. And then the other team that I see him trying to go to is, what's the other team? I forgot the other team I was saying, but yeah, obviously the Ravens. So it's 4 teams. I see 4 teams. I forgot the other team. I'll think about it now. But I see teams offering. There's just no way that you don't offer him. Oh, I mean, of course, the Colts. Why not?
Yep.
Why not? You already have a top 10 pick right there. You can sell that and get Lamar. You have the weapons. You have the offensive line, which I think is the best offensive line in the game, and you have a decent defense.
Yep. Definitely. It's gonna be interesting to see where it ends. So, I think we got to stay tuned. I think today was a great first day of free agency. I think there's a lot of cool moves, and with the draft coming up in like less than a month and a half coming up, it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. So, but our listeners and our fans, we appreciate you guys so much. We love y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, follow us on Instagram, Twitter at 252 Blitz, all one word. You can find us on Anchor, Spotify, 252 Blitz. We'll all be there. We love you guys. Appreciate you guys. We will see you guys live on YouTube again.
And then definitely tune in into our TikTok. We're gonna be doing more of little takes and hot takes and all that on TikTok. Yeah, the little clips and all that. IG, following us, everything is gonna be 352 Blitz. I don't think anybody has that username, so 352 Blitz is the name. Subscribe, like, follow us, share us around. If you don't like one of our takes, comment it, man. If you want to call us idiots, I don't really care. But
I think we're all okay with
thank
that.
you. Yeah, just thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
You guys take care.
Yeah.